From the studios of WTVJ in Miami, Florida, comes a special program in accordance with the code of the National Association of Radio and Television Broadcasters. This full-hour program, devoted to the gubernatorial candidates, Acting Governor Charlie Johns and Senator Leroy Collins, is presented as a public service. WTVJ has invited radio stations throughout the entire state of Florida to carry this special debate. The opinions of program participants are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of this station's management.
Good evening, everybody. This is Ralph Rennick welcoming you to another edition of What's the Story? Florida, as you know, is approaching the climax of a turbulent political drama. Two men are campaigning for votes in a May 25th runoff election, which will decide who will serve the last 2 years of the unexpired term of the late Governor Dan McCarty. Tonight, for the first time, these two candidates are meeting to discuss and debate the issues of the campaign. Our guests are Leroy Collins of Tallahassee on my left, a state senator with an 18-year record in the legislature, and Charlie E. Johns of Stark, who, as president of the state senate, currently serves as acting governor of Florida. On tonight's program, acting Governor Johns and Senator Collins will be asked questions by our regular interrogators, Dr. Don Larson, chairman of the government department at the University of Miami, and Bill Baggs, columnist for the Miami Daily News. Well, now, gentlemen, let's get down to business. And first, let me explain my role in tonight's program. The public interest dictates that both sides receive fair and impartial treatment. Thus, we will now put into effect a set of ground rules. Now, each of you gentlemen will have a maximum of 2 minutes in which to reply to questions asked by Dr. Larson and Mr. Baggs. At the end of that time, this buzzer will sound. That means time is up. And if you have any further points to debate on that subject, you will each be given the opportunity to talk further, but a 1-minute time limit will then go into effect. And now on to the program, and who's the first with a question, Don?
Well, Mr. Rennie, could I make a statement before the program starts here, rather preliminary to it?
An opening statement, Senator?
Well, I'd just like to comment on the meeting and express my appreciation for the fact that the...
Get on, make everybody happy at the very beginning. Governor, if the Senator makes an opening statement and you make one, will that be acceptable?
Anything?
Opening statement by each candidate, and start with Senator Collins.
Well, I just wanted to express my appreciation of the fact that the acting governor has finally agreed to participate in a joint meeting of this kind. I regret that he was unwilling to participate in many office for meetings in the first primary when Mr. Odom was also a candidate. I've been reading the last few days some of the rather vicious, scurrilous advertising that's been taking place in the Miami Herald here in regard to this approaching meeting. And I was amazed when I came into the studio tonight out on the streets to pick up a copy of tomorrow morning's Miami Herald to find that the meeting had already been held. I just wanted to ask the acting governor something about this. Now, here's a copy of tomorrow morning's Herald. And it's an official advertisement by acting Governor Johns. And he says, proof that truth is mightier than the syrupy mouthings. Governor Johns' direct talk to the people of Dade wins wide support. Now, this is in the morning's paper, not this morning. Well, Senator Collins, wherever you are, we told you what would happen. You asked for it on television last night, and you got it. You didn't look so good, Senator, did you? Neither did your record when it was put up against that of Governor Johns, did it? Governor Johns would much rather have left you to your own devices and let the public discover for itself exactly what you are. But you wanted to get on television. Well, you got your wish, didn't you? We hope you're satisfied now, Senator. Now, that's the sort of advertising that's been prepared and run in a local paper 2 hours before the meeting is held, and I find that I'm already convicted.
All right, Senator Collins, acting Governor Johns.
Not have anything to do with any advertisement. I'm not To start with, I mean, I didn't know anything about any advertisement that's going to be put in the paper, because that's not Charlie John's, and the citizens of Florida know it's not Charlie John's. Because I've carried on a good, clean, decent pain, and Leroy knows it. And I want to say again that I've heard Leroy say that in his heart he felt like he could make the citizens of Florida a good governor. Well, when I was sworn in as acting governor of this state...
Governor, your time is up. We'll get back in a moment. Senator, you've each had 2 minutes. We can continue this if you want to go on a minute-by-minute basis.
I'd just like to ask the simple question if he repudiates the people who are putting this kind of advertising in the Miami newspapers. From what he said then, I'd judge that that may be what he's implying.
I've got somebody handling my advertisement. I can't okay every ad that's put in the Miami Herald or any other paper. I've got to depend on somebody to do that for me, just like you have.
I'm showing you now where your advertising writers have written up a book on a meeting that had never even been held, and it's reminiscent somewhat of that action that you took in removing all those McCarty appointees without giving them the courtesy of any hearing. Perhaps that's your nature, to judge and then before any hearing or any opportunity of anybody else to be heard on the subject.
Mr. Moderator, when I can say something, I don't want to interrupt.
No, you have a minute.